Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shepnaz Podcast, everybody. I am Zack, your host for this lovely podcast, and we hope you're having a great Thursday. Thursday is a great day. I'm assuming that's when this is coming out, if I'm following my calendar correctly. Happy Thursday to you all. And if you're wondering, we have been doing it a little different today than we normally do. Normally, we'll be following up on Pastor Nick's sermons on Thursday, but Sunday looked a little different, boys.
A little bit.
Bit different, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So, welcome into the podcast.
Wait, I thought this was lunch.
Wait, it's not Worship Wednesday episode? What if we did? We just bait and switched you into finally being on the Worship Wednesday podcast.
You guys have been asking for a while.
We have. Comment down below if you think Pastor Nick should join us on the Worship Wednesday podcast.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll let the people
decide.
That's right.
I love it.
But if they're like, please no.
For the love of God, do not
Just don't tell me.
The results were inconclusive.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not why we have you on today. So, Nick, Noah, you guys had a pretty cool Sunday. A little different from the normal service Sundays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we definitely did. We kind of mentioned it, I think, one of the previous weeks, if that was last week. I can't remember. But, Made for More Sunday happened this past Sunday. So, definitely a little different, but...
very different from the norm.
Yeah.
So for those of you who did not listen in to last week's podcast, Nick or Noah, would you fill us in on what is Made for More Sunday? I mean, you're wearing the shirt.
I am wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't wear mine.
Repping the brand,
so
man.
this has been the term Made for More has been our kind of theme for the year with the Johnstown campus, and that comes from Ephesians 2:10. You have it memorized?
For we are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which He has prepared
for us in advance.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I have done this at a different church. I wasn't in charge of it or anything, but just participated. And instead of Sunday service in our normal aspect, we planned 7 serve opportunities. So people came to church, got a shirt, kind of got fired up, and then we all went out and did service projects throughout the city of Johnstown. And that included, see if I can name all 7.
I was going to say.
The gas buy down. We did a pop-up cookout at Kroger. We painted a room in our food pantry.
Nice.
We made like 400 peanut butter and jellies for Jordan's Crossing.
It's a lot of PB&Js.
A lot of them.
40 loaves.
Wow. That'll be passed out to the homeless population this week. A lady in town who needed help with her landscaping, kind of spring cleaning that she kind of is not able to take care of. We went and fixed her up as much as we could.
Nice.
That's 5. We made...
which, by the way, I've got poison ivy
starting
to show up
did
from
ya?
that. Yep.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Dang.
Little bit of a souvenir from your trip.
Yeah,
huh?
it was all over, but...
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then we made cards for teachers and bus drivers as like an appreciation.
That's awesome.
That will pass out in a couple weeks. And then the last one, we passed out free flowers at Kroger as well. That was the kids' kind of ministry one that they were able to do. They went to Kroger and just kind of passed out flowers to strangers as an
That's awesome.
act of kindness. And we all wore our T-shirts. It was actually kind of cool looking out into the congregation, seeing all the shirts. And, but yeah, that's what we did on Sunday.
That's awesome.
So a little different than the norm. But
yeah, I'd say so.
not much. Yeah.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, too, so you guys started the morning at the church and you all worshiped together to start.
Yeah.
Which, when you guys were kind of talking through and explaining that, like, I love that that's how you started the day. It was kind of like like getting everybody hyped up for battle kind of a thing, like we are going to gather, we are going to worship together, because that is an important piece of, what we do.
As the church.
Yep, as the church, we gather, we worship, we fellowship. But really, you guys did what God called the church to do, and that's actually to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus. And I really love that you guys made that a priority. It's a big deal. So tell me, you guys had about 40 some people plus show up to help out with this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about that. Maybe a couple more, but yeah, very good representation of I would say our congregation there. Everybody was super excited to be involved, to do it. Great feedback from it, but yeah, it was I think very positive, because that was going into it. Noah kind of threw this idea out a year ago, and I was like, I don't know about that. But we decided to give it a try. And my thing going into it was like, okay, it's got to be very well organized, very well planned out, because you don't want anybody to have a bad experience on either ends, like those who are serving or being served. And so we just really wanted to emphasize all of that, and make sure that that was a priority. Sorry. Oh, it's okay.
We have our next guest. Coming in right now. If you guys give us like 2 minutes, we'll be wrapping up.
So where was it? Are we going to edit this out?
No, man, we're rolling with it.
Oh, we're going with it?
It's actually a great segue. Go ahead and finish and we'll segue.
Okay, so going into it, wanted to make sure it was very well organized, run smoothly, and it definitely was. Just that. Came together. Everybody knew where they were going, what they were doing. We were prepared for people that, if they didn't know it was going on, like let's say it was their first time coming, we had a plan for those people to get them involved if they wanted to be. Right. So yeah, it was definitely a very good experience, I think, on my end, and just from some of the feedback from other people on theirs as well. So
yeah, another cool thing we did was after the whole event, we came back for like food and ate pizza and other stuff, desserts, and we just opened up the floor for people to share, how God moved and the people they talked to, and even just serving with each other, because not everything was super evangelistic. Some of it was just, you're going to go here and work hard for an hour and a half. So just hearing how people worked together, worked with each other, got to know each other better, but also the people that we interacted with, and all the feedback from the community was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was one thing that like really got me fired up when you guys came back that Monday and we're just sharing stories of like how people were impacted, and even the little things too. I think we often forget about that, and something I try to remind our team of a lot, is when we think about what it looks like to be the hands and feet of Jesus, we're always like, oh, well, I don't have the money or the time, or, it's like we get this grand idea of like, I have to like buy someone a house to prove them Jesus. But the reality is like, Jesus is in the small things too. And especially with the world that we live in right now, a free hot dog or a smile or a flower from a kid can be enough to really change somebody's perspective. I think of even people who have had like past church hurt before, or maybe they have a false idea of what it means to be a Christian or to go to church. And something as simple as like, you guys are giving me free gas? Why? Yeah, just because we love you and Jesus loves you. That can totally change somebody's perspective and ultimately change somebody's eternity because of that.
Yeah, and that's part of the hope going into it that we had for people, is that we would just be so different in a way that people are like, what? Ask the question, and why are you guys doing this? What's this all about? Yeah. To stir them a little bit spiritually, and yeah, maybe they've had some preconceived ideas of what Christian church is like, and that was a lot of the feedback that we did have from our folks when they came back, was that people made comments, not just once or twice, but several times of, oh, that's the type of church that we would want to be a part of, that we would be interested in, and not that like that wasn't the goal. Like I'll get just to go do those things to hopefully get it, but to challenge some of those ideas as well. To, like you had mentioned, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, because I think going into it that was kind of our phrasing was, we can't think following Jesus is just for 1 hour on Sunday. Yep. Like that's all there is to it. And so this was just a creative way, in part, to push back on that, even from church people. That I'm a Christian. I go to church on Sundays for 1 hour. Right. Like, well, there's more to it than that. And so to think, oh, I did this with my church on Sunday, that's the end. It's like, well, there's actually the rest of your week that you are already doing things, that you are already being placed in another person's path. There's still opportunities there to continue what we all were part of. Now you can contribute to and show just in everyday life. So that was good.
Yeah, it's really good. You know, one of the things that I really took away from, if you don't know, you know, the church is going through this pivot process, and once a month we have a very long meeting, and we just got done with a very long meeting where
It's long. Just trust us on that.
Yes, it's long. It's long for good reasons, because we are really looking at very important stuff and really planning on, you know, what the future of the church could be and what that looks like for us here at Shepherd. And one of the things that really stood out to me this past meeting we had was putting numbers to the amount of time that we spend, and how 4% of our week is spent in church and 96% of it is out in the world, and why it's so important for us as believers. You know, what it looks like to be the hands and feet of Jesus is not showing up for 4% of your time. And you guys went and were an actual example of that.
Yeah. So. And not something, you know, we are going to do every week, but every once in a while to just keep that in front of people, I think is a good thing to be doing. So.
Yeah. Well, super awesome you guys did that. I think that was an awesome way to wrap this up. And the segue we were talking about earlier is you make sure to tune in tomorrow, because you heard from Pastor Nick and Noah, but tomorrow we're going to be hearing from somebody who was part of the team as a volunteer who came out to serve. And so if you saw their little cameo sneak in the middle of this episode, it was just a little teaser for what's to come tomorrow. So we would love for you to tune in. If you haven't had a chance to look at some of these other podcasts, man, please check out our website. If you have any questions, reach out to us at podcast@shepnaz.org. Share this on your social media. For Noah and Nick, I'm Zack. Have a great day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.